Hold up.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here, and welcome back to another F1 2016 career mode video for you guys today here on my channel. We are back with round 6, I believe, of this career mode, unless I'm wrong, which is the Monaco Grand Prix for Mercedes. As you can see, we'll be starting off with the vehicle performance comparison, and Red Bull have made some big upgrades to their car, and they are almost on par with us as the fastest car on the grid. So big upgrades coming from Red Bull here in Monaco. We're actually saving our upgrades for the Canadian Grand Prix. But if you do enjoy today's video, drop a like, that'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here. And quickly before we start then today's video, yesterday I set out a question, and that was, do you want me to just do Formula 1 videos only, or did you want me to do an alternate rotation where one day I did F1, one day I did, I don't know, the journey, on FIFA 16, and it was clear to see that you guys went for the option of F1. You can see some of the comments coming on the screens right now, starting off with Helen saying, also I have a similar thought, you should stick with F1. Following on then from Zombie LM, who also said stick with F1. It's more interesting and you do better on F1 2016. GXTR Force says stick to F1. And then I saved the best comment to last because I thought it was funny. Captain Jack Sparrow saying, personal opinion, stick with F1. It's going so well that I ain't even done my constructions assignment. Oh wait, fuck. Brilliant comment that was. That was one that I just found that one really funny. So thank you all for sending in those comments and informing me that you'd rather me just do Formula 1 than do Formula 1 and the journey combined. It means a lot because basically on the journey, as you know, when you finish the journey itself, you actually get an Alex Hunter Ultimate Team card. And I've been waiting out because I kind of want to go and grind out the journey to go and play it. And get that Alex Hunter card. So luckily I don't need to just record it and constantly upload it to YouTube, so I can go play that anytime I want. So I will not be uploading any more of the journey. If you do want the journey on my channel, you've got to protest for it at the moment, because otherwise I'm not going to be uploading it. But as you can see, we've been doing the practice sessions whilst I've been discussing the topics for this morning, not this morning, what the bloody hell, it's in the afternoon I'm recording this. But anyway, in the track acclimatization test, we only managed to get a good, or we passed it, so we got 30 resource points, so not the maximum 50. I struggled with the understeer on the car around here, and this isn't a Mercedes suited track, never has been. It's a street circuit, definitely a Red Bull favoured circuit, this one. On the track acclimatization, I've talked about that one. On the qualifying simulation run, we got the maximum points, 50 resource points. Also on the tyre wear test, we did do that as well. And practice finishes here. And as you can see, we have got a brand new rival. Emma has come over and she said, yo, bitch, you got a rival to deal with. And that's my teammate, Lewis Hamilton. So a nice, interesting rivalry here. Because if we win this rivalry, we're definitely the best of the two Mercedes drivers. However, if we don't win it, then Hamilton really has cemented himself as that #1 driver. But there are the qualifying goals on your screen. Qualify second or higher and beat Lewis Hamilton. So really, we want to be going for pole position. But as we come into Q1 then, you can see we're on the ultra soft purple mark tyres. And we come sprinting towards the line now with Alonso on pole. And we go in just behind Fernando Alonso. Wasn't really pushing too much on my lap, if I'm honest. There was no need to, so we qualified there down in 8th place. Coming now through Rascasse here and then into the final corner, we are going to be setting another lap time. Max Verstappen currently leads the way. We scraped the wall just ever so slightly there, but we go in and bang the fastest lap of the Q2 session. And eventually we did drop down to 7th. Now Q3 was a massive problem. As you can see, the rain started falling, but it was recommended that I went onto the dry ultra soft tyres to start this qualifying session on. So into Rascasse we locked up, lost a bit of the front wing, coming down towards the finish line here. We set the fastest lap, but it's a slow lap, and we speed up the timings here, or actually we go on to our dry weather on the settings here, and we change over to the intermediates because it said go on those dry tyres because you can't go on the intermediates because it's 5 seconds slower. But the rain just kept coming and coming, and the intermediate tyres will apparently be 13 seconds faster. So my ultra soft lap, I believe, was a 33, something like that. So they reckon we could get into the 1 minute 20s here, or it was a 1:36. I can't remember what my lap time was. But at the moment, you can see we're in P7, and it's up to us now. The pressure's on. We've set a really crappy lap on the ultra softs, trying to get out there and set that lap. Didn't work out for us. So now we've got the challenge of trying to get out there, set the fastest lap, and to go for it. So here we go then. As you can see, we're breaking down into last source, into turn 1 here. I am going to be showing the whole qualifying lap, but this time I am going to commentate over it because it's just Monaco, you know, it's a tough circuit. So anyway, we're making the run now and making the left-hander through Massenet here, making sure the car is straightened up, no oversteer. Down into Casino Square, nicely done. Good entrance, good exit of the apex. Coming towards Mirabeau, avoiding the bump on the left-hand side of the circuit, going purple in the first sector, really pushing on this intermediate lap, down into the lowest hairpin, the slowest corner on the entire F1 calendar, dropping to about 25 miles an hour, so slow into the lowest hairpin there. Again, like I said, slowest on the calendar. Now we are taking the right-hander, coming towards the tunnel here, and you can already see on the delta time how much quicker I am. If you have a look at the delta time in the top right, you can see how much faster I really am on these intermediate tyres, showing that the Ultra Softs just wasn't the right way to go, and now the pressure's on. Down into the Nouvelle chicane, we make a little bit of a fuss of it, but we still got there nice and cleanly. Coming through to back now, braking hard, making sure that we don't clip the wall on the right-hand side, staying away from that, through the swimming pool chicane. Once again, purple in the middle sector, down into this difficult little new chicane. They sort of made it, so it's a little bit slower through there. Braking hard into Rascasse. We've made many mistakes in Rascasse, especially in the qualifying and practice. We get that one right, and then down into the final corner, and now the small dash towards the start-finish line. You can see we're accelerating as hard as we possibly can. The target is there from Max Verstappen, and take that. We go through and get pole position here for Monaco, and that is how it stayed. Pole position, battering Max Verstappen's lap. In fact, Ricciardo got closer, and he's on the front row of the grid. But Red Bull's upgrades clearly showing here, with Red Bull 2nd and 3rd, Hamilton in 4th, the two Ferraris 5th and 6th, with Alonso down in 7th place. But as you can see, we're looking at all the resource points we're going to be gathering for the end of that qualifying session. 90 resource points in total. In terms of the rivalry between me and Lewis Hamilton, we're going to be taking the lead of that here. Hamilton setting the fastest first and middle sector on the qualifying lap, but we still had a blistering final sector to go and beat him there. In fact, that was actually from Q2 that was taken. But anyway then, we're going to be getting the race objectives here from Emma, and the most likelihood is she's going to want us to get a podium finish because we qualified on pole for the Monaco Grand Prix, and that's pretty much what they want. So qualifying was a really interesting one, so close, a lot of pressure on us. Now we've got pole position, which is the most important part of the weekends. So without further ado, let's get into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. Joining me to talk you through the action today is Anthony Davidson. And give us an idea of what kind of thing you're going to be looking out for today.
Well, the big question for me is whether or not we're going to see the cars able to follow each other closely enough to overtake, especially through the fast sections here. Of course, we've got DRS, and that will help on the straights, but it's still no good if you're coming off the previous corner too slowly or too far behind.
Okay, it's a short run to Saint-Devote, and you know what Monaco's like, so try to defend this lead.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It's Mercedes in pole position then, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen and Button, Massa, Alonso, Gutierrez and Valtteri Bottas, Vettel, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Wehrlein, Grosjean, Haryanto, Nico Hülkenberg and Daniel Kvyat, Magnussen and Palmer, Felipe Nasser and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, so as you can see, we are on the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix, and having a look at the tyre strategy then, We're going to be starting the race on the purple marked ultra soft tyres, which we set in Q2. And then we're going to be going to making one pit stop and going on to the red marked super soft tyres, which will take us to the end of the race. So pretty interesting strategy there. Well, it's not actually interesting. It's kind of a bog standard strategy. One stop strategy to the end of the race. But as you can see, we skip the formation lap now on the grid here. We've got 3, 4, now 5 red lights here for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. An okay-ish start, not the best on the traction there, but the second phase of the start, we get in front there, down into Sandevot, we make a clean start there, and we do the crucial part of this race, maintaining the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix, climbing up the hill now through Massenet corner as we come through now. No, a little bit of understeer actually, and then breaking down into Casino Square. We make that one nice and perfect there, avoiding the bump before Mirabeau, breaking down into the right handle of Mirabeau itself. Contact with the wall there on my rear tyre, a little bit fussy there as I tried to get the car planted into Mirabeau, getting as close as I could. Unfortunately, I just made a small mistake there as we break now down into this difficult double right-hander before we make the charge now through the tunnel, chucking the car into rich fuel mixture as we look to try and pull away from the closing Red Bulls as we go up into 7th gear, braking hard now down into the New Bell chicane here. We make a very big fuss of it. Warning for exceeding the track limits. Completely fine, I do accept that one. Locked up the brakes, went very wide into that New Bell chicane. I had to cut the corner there in order to otherwise it would have just caused carnage. We come past the swimming pool and to back corners, and now we're making the approach to Rascasse here. Braking hard down into Rascasse, locking up a little bit there, a little bit wide, and we had to just avoid the wall there, making sure we didn't run into it. Final corner, making a bit of a mess of that one as well. A lot of understeer in the early phases of this race, and Ricciardo looks like he's going to be setting a run on us. He's going to be swooping left and right, but there's just no room around this circuit. And down into Sandevot here on lap 2 of the Monaco Grand Prix. We are P1, Ricciardo P2, Verstappen P3, and Hamilton P4. And let's get a replay of the start. So as you can see, we didn't get the best initial getaway. In the second phase of the start, we got in front, and the walls sort of closed in, forcing Ricciardo to sort of slot in behind. There was just no way he was going to get past us. Making the run up towards Massenet now in this left-hander. Ricciardo still keeping close touches with us. But as we make the run now down into Casino Square, but somewhere Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen had a little bit of a battle, and that cost them some time. So that's what I definitely want to look at. Through Mirabeau, you can see we make contact with my rear tyre on the Mirabeau, on the wall. Luckily no damage from myself there. One of the Ferraris has had a pretty shocking start. They've dropped a lot of places actually, which is a bit frustrating for them. Making the run, as you can see now, down the tunnel towards the New Bell chicane. This is where we went off, made a mistake on the corner. So you can see us sprinting through the tunnel here, making the break down into the New Bell chicane. You can see we broke late, locked up. We had to cut the chicane there. I completely accept it going off the track there in order for that. Through to back now, nicely executed. Through swimming pool there, we glitz and glance through there as we make our way towards Rascasse corner, which we are doing just about now. Down into Rascasse, you can see we're making our car nicely and firmly planted, and then breaking down into the final corner, making a bit of a fuss of it, to be honest. And this is when Daniel Ricciardo got that run on us, but luckily there was just not enough space. He tried to go to the inside line, tried to switch back to the outside line, just not enough room for him there. Lap 3 of the Grand Prix, and we are going horribly wrong into Rascasse here, almost losing the position to Ricciardo, so close to losing the position to Ricciardo, but we are struggling in these early phases of the race, unfortunately. I could not get these tyres warmed up whatsoever, and it was causing some catastrophic understeer in my Mercedes car, and it's literally just a replica right now of what happened in real life. I'm a Mercedes driver leading this Grand Prix. I'm struggling on the purple marked ultra soft tyres, and I've got Daniel Ricciardo, just like in real life in the Red Bull, hunting me down and literally sticking right behind me, looking for anywhere possible to make an overtake, whether that be on circuit or whether that be from the pit stops, or even if I made a mistake on track. So really am struggling to get the car planted at the moment, and I'm going to be showing the rest of this lap, trying to show exactly what I'm on about here, that Ricciardo is very much in the hot seat for making an overtake on us at this rate. Yeah, Ricciardo is in the hot seat. He's got a faster package than we do at the moment, and we are just doing a Lewis Hamilton replica from this season's Grand Prix of just literally fending off the Red Bull driver, because that's all we need to do. Because round Monaco, catching a driver is one thing, overtaking a driver is another thing round Monaco. And of course, as we know, this is the track that tests not the driver, not the car, but it tests the actual driver's skill. Again, going into Rascasse, locking up there, giving Ricciardo the open opportunity to try and make a move. My engineer decides if I would like to make a strategy change and come in at the end of next lap. I decide to screw that option and come in at the end of lap 7 when my original pit stop was. They gave me the option to come in before Lewis Hamilton does, actually, because that's something I've realised. Lap 6 of the Grand Prix, once again going wide into Rascasse and not going well for us. But this time, we built ourselves a small little gap on Daniel Ricciardo as him and Lewis Hamilton venture off into the pit lane. And I go into the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. So some pace is finally there in my Mercedes. I finally got pace. And now I'm starting to use it, starting to get the hammer down. The Fox is on the prowl to get further and further away from whoever the hell's chasing me. But we're going to be skipping to something crucially in a minute. Now, as you can see, we're now joining with Daniel Ricciardo as he exits the pits here from his pit stop onto the super softs. And check this out. He has come out in front of a lot of traffic. And like I said before, getting close to someone or catching someone is one thing. Getting past them is another thing. And that's crucial. Ricciardo is now held up by Carlos Sainz and Rio Haryanto. So my objective, I knew, is clear. I've got to push. The reason I've got to push, I need to get out in front of Haryanto and in front of Sainz. Sainz is on the super soft tyres, so he's going to be going to about lap 12, lap 13. Haryanto's on the ultra soft tyres, so he'll only be going to about lap 9, lap 10 at the best if he wants to really stretch out his tyres. Now, of course, I've got Romain Grosjean behind me. Haryanto's actually behind Grosjean. But if I want to win this race, I feel I've got to get in front of the traffic. And if I get in front of the traffic will hopefully save me. And hopefully, Ricciardo, and Lewis Hamilton cannot get past. Well, Hamilton can get past, that's fine. But Ricciardo, he can't. So anyway, we're coming into the pits now for what is going to be our one and only pit stop of this race. Taking off the purple marked ultra soft tyres and putting on the red marked super soft tyres. And we're going to be taking those to the end of the race. But the crucial thing is, where is that traffic? Have we been quick enough to get in front of the traffic and help our chances of winning this Grand Prix? That's Romain Grosjean. We're not looking out for him. It's the manner of Rio Haryanto is what we're watching for. Breaking into turn 1, I don't see any manor car. There they are, just behind you on your screens. That's the traffic that Ricciardo is stuck behind. He is stuck behind Haryanto and still stuck behind Carlos Sainz. So a miracle. We are in front of the traffic that is holding up Ricciardo and also Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. So, the gods have shone on us right now. And I knew straight away I've got one thing in mind. And that is get my pedal to the floor, and push my living heart out to get that gap. Now, coming into the final corner, we make a really big mess of that, actually. I should have gone a little more conservative. But bang, fastest lap of the race. I've got to push away. Haryanto's into the pits now. It's just Sainz that's holding up Ricciardo, Verstappen and Hamilton. So we just need to keep on going. Next lap, lap 10, coming down into Rascasse. Now into the final corner, making the charge towards the pit straight. You can see that Sainz and Ricciardo are only just approaching Rascasse at this race. And bang, fastest lap again. I'm not taking any prisoners. I am going for it right now. I've got to, because Ricciardo is quicker than me. He was quicker in the stint. It's just that he couldn't get past. So I wanted to build a gap in order to cement that. Lap 11, coming around the final corner. I think you can kind of see the trends that we've got going on here as we come across the line. Bang, fastest lap again. 3 laps in a row, fastest lap. We're closing in on Valtteri Bottas, but Bottas will be coming into the pits very, very soon, so we don't need to worry about that. And we've got about a 10-second gap to Carlos Sainz behind us. And of course, that's going to be for Ricciardo. Skipping ahead now to all the way to the last lap of the Grand Prix. And when I said the traffic saved us, I seriously mean it. At the end of lap 12, when we set that fastest lap of the race, we had a 10-second lead. I think it stretched up to 13 seconds. Now, it's down to just about 1 second. The Red Bulls were bloody quick around here in Monaco, but the traffic gods have shone upon us. And as you can see on the front left wing end plate, we actually made contact with one of the walls, and we did lose a bit of our end plate, causing a lot of understeer in the car. And of course, I've already been dealing with understeers. We hit the wall into the back, no damage there. But we've already suffered from understeer in the race, so having that really did compromise me a lot. But luckily, in the first stint, we held off the Red Bull charge of Daniel Ricciardo, just like Lewis Hamilton did. In the end, at the start of the middle stint, we managed to pull away from Ricciardo after he was held up in the traffic. And from then on in, it's a comfortable race, and it's a great win there to take home the win here in Monaco. The first time in my career mode, if you include last season for McLaren, the first time that I have won here in Monaco. So I'm really, really happy about that, and a great result for the team today. And it seems that we're going in some sort of random order. It seems that I didn't win in Australia, then I won, then I didn't win, then I won, then I didn't win last race, and now I won. So expect Canada me not to win unless I can pull off some unless I can break that trend. But guys, if you have enjoyed the race, make sure to drop a like on it. You guys have been so good and so supportive over this series, and we've got a lot of new subscribers that have been coming in recently. Keep on coming, welcome to the channel, and I hope you really do enjoy content coming up here on my channel. And that's going to be it then for today. We take home the win. And stay tuned later on today. I forgot to announce at the start. Later on tonight, I think I'm going to be doing a FIFA 17 live stream. Just playing some Ultimate Team online, doing the foot drafts, maybe doing some of the journeys. So if you want me to do that live stream as well, let me know, and I will go and do that. But as you can see, full race classification, we managed to take home the win ahead of Ricciardo, ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Verstappen. So it was definitely a Mercedes-Red Bull fight. Actually, no, it's ahead of Bottas. Okay, so Verstappen lost out to Bottas. That's interesting. Driver standings, we now increase our lead at the top of the standings against Lewis Hamilton, which is very, very crucial for us indeed. The Red Bulls of Ricciardo and Verstappen slowly starting to catch up to McLaren, of course, because McLaren is second in the drivers' standings. Verstappen really needs to pick up his pace. Red Bull overtake Ferrari in the constructors' standings, and Williams overtake Haas, and that's all that goes for that in the constructors' standings. But Red Bull definitely are the second fastest car now, and a very close challenger to us Mercedes, so we definitely need to be looking out for them. Expect Red Bull to overtake McLaren in the constructors' standings at some point. Looking at the rivalry update, we actually beat Lewis Hamilton in that race very comfortably after we set those 3 fastest laps in a row. In the driver's position, we managed to stay at the best we possibly could, and there's our career score. But that's going to be it, guys, and we do make an upgrade for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's a big upgrade. We're going to be making an engine upgrade for the Canadian Grand Prix, so our Mercedes, that is already extremely fast in a straight line, is about to get faster. So there's the engine upgrade done. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys for the next race in Canada. Take care, peace!